sister asked a question. I was like, "You trying to get to know my boy? What's going on, bro?"
Sister? What sister?
My little sister, like my real life sister, went
For real?
and asked a question. She was like, "How tall are you?" I was like, "Oh,
How old is your sister?
why?" No, I'm playing. She's like 23. She's 23.
What she look like?
Like me? Attractive like me?
Let's start this podcast.
Bro, he's a hater.
Hey, yo. Tim's sister, if you're out there watching this, why are you trying to learn about me?
One of my sisters, yeah. Other one,
How tall is she? Tall like you?
nah, she's taller than you.
Okay, let's start this podcast.
I'm so sorry. Cut it. Cut it.
Blooper.
Listen, bro, welcome to the After Ride. This is a podcast where we go in deep detail about bike life and just talk about anything that's related to bikes. We talk more about, we get into detail about the people in bike life, talk about problems, talk about great things about bikes, and also about our guests. So we have a special guest here, came all the way from, I'll just say in SoCal. I don't know, like, if you care about, like, what city you're exactly in.
SoCal. I represent all SoCal.
All of SoCal. We have DeezyBikelife. My boy.
Gangery, what up, man?
How you doing?
Blessed, bro. Thank you for having me. I'm glad we finally locking in.
Dude, I know, bro. We've been wanting to lock in about a podcast for at least, I've been wanting to do this podcast for, like, a year. But I just felt like we weren't necessarily ready yet. Yeah. But now we're rolling, so.
Yeah,
it's
you're never gonna feel like you're ready, but I'm glad you pulled the trigger. So.
We pulled it, yeah. We pulled it, so we're here. How was the drive, man?
Drive was cool.
Cool.
We came with Dan the Man and Joshua.
Yeah.
Drive was smooth. We took turns driving. Didn't get too much sleep.
No.
It was a vibe.
How many stops did you have?
In the Tesla, we had to make 3 stops. Luckily, when you take these stops, you charge and you get food and wait. So you kind of get the rest between stops. So
damn.
It's good and bad. It makes it longer, but you get the rest between your drive. So
damn. In the Tesla too? You just
the Tesla with 3 bikes in the back.
Bro.
We had to.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Damn.
So we're gonna ride.
That's raw.
Yeah.
You worked for that Tesla, right?
I worked for it.
Everything everything that you've done in bike life was like that Tesla is kind of like the product of all the work that you've done?
It's a materialistic representation of some work I put in. Yeah.
Okay.
I wouldn't say it's from all the work I put in, nor is it a trophy, but I'd definitely say it's a gift to myself. And also, at the same time, it's a tool. So it's a tool to get me here. It's a tool to get me to other opportunities. It's a tool to make sure I'm comfortable while getting to ride. So an investment, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely a long-term investment.
For sure.
But I guess let's get to how you started. So what really got you into riding a bike?
My earliest memory of bikes, 2 wheels. Pretty sure every young kid had a bike. If you didn't, I know your childhood was probably trash if you didn't have a bike.
Yeah.
So I've always been around bikes or on them. My youngest uncle, from what I remember, he got me into doing tricks on the 20-inch bikes, not wheelies. A few years later, when I seen a wheelie on a pedal bike, that's when I fell in love with, okay, I need to learn a wheelie. I need to master it next. So, been around bikes my whole life, but when I seen a wheelie on a pedal bike, that's what got me hooked. And I need to do this.
Yeah.
I love the style too. The bike life culture, subculture, definitely resonated with me and my style. And seeing it from the outside, it's like I want to get in the scene somehow, some way. So let's get a bike, let's get to learning wheelies, and let's get to connecting with people.
Yeah. Did it take how long to learn how to wheelie, or was it really natural for you?
So before getting my big BMX, I got my big BMX as a gift when I turned 13. So before that, I had a 20-inch. I was doing wheelies, but on a 20-inch, I had no brakes, and it's not the ideal wheelie bike. So from the day I got my big BMX to popping it up, took me about 4 days.
Okay.
But to maintain a wheelie, it took me like, I want to say a month,
Okay,
maybe
yeah.
less than a month.
Damn. So
Yeah.
like you kind of picked it up,
Yeah.
like high key.
When you really want it, you're going to go get it.
Yeah, you're gonna chase it.
Yeah, so I
Yeah,
had to.
I feel
Nonstop.
that. I was like the same way, bro. Like, I was coming out of knee surgery like
Yeah.
4 years ago,
Yeah.
and the doctor told me I needed to ride a bike. So my homie on the game, we're gonna talk about gaming later. Um, he doesn't like. We'll talk about it later. um, we were on the game, and he was like, "Bro, there's this thing called bike life. Like, we pop wheelies and all that. Just get any bike, right?" So I got on it, and bro, I found like a random hoagie, and we went for a ride. They started popping wheelies, and then instantly, like, I just wanted a wheelie. So it took like maybe like a month. So, bro, like,
That's
when
amazing.
you want it, you just
Right.
go for it, bro. Like,
That's amazing how something like an injury can cause you to get into a sport or a hobby, and it can change your life.
for real, yeah. And I feel like everyone gets that kind of like that wheelie high where they just wanna they just keep hustling.
Yeah.
They're outside like maybe hours on end,
Yeah.
just trying to at least get like 3 pedals of a
Right.
wheelie, right?
Right. I
That's
relate.
raw.
I relate.
Yeah. So like since we're talking about like kind of like the beginning of like DZ, like who was DZ like maybe 5 years ago, or like, and do you see like a change from like who you are then from who you are now?
Well, when I think about seeing changing myself, I see changing myself weekly, and that should be the goal. The goal should be to become 1% better day by day. So yes, if I'm not seeing change, uh, something wrong. Something wrong. Whether I'm going backwards, staying the same, or stuck somehow.
Yeah.
So I love change. 5 years ago, so I'm 22. So 5 years ago, I was. I'm tired. Do the math for me.
5 years ago from
17.
22?
I was
Yeah.
17.
Yeah.
So I was in high school doing virtual school. I didn't like school. So I did online school to focus more on bikes
Yeah.
and be able to travel and not be in the classroom setting. Still driven, still wanting to get into business, still wanting to make this bike thing a full-time thing.
Yeah.
Or at least bigger than just ride around the neighborhood and just recording clips. I knew at that point there's something bigger than what I always knew bikes to be, just as a way to have fun, a way to get around. At that point, I knew there was something more I can do because I had good examples online, or I had people I can watch online. Oh, they're doing this cool thing on the bike. They have this sponsor. But when you go 9 years back, it's a whole different story.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like 9 years back, you feel like you were still trying to, well, like, what were you 9 years back? Were you like even really locked in with like taking bike life seriously,
Yeah.
or like, were you a Fulio off the Julio, or what was going on, bro?
So 9 years ago, that was about around the time where I got my first big BMX. So I got the big BMX gifted from my mom when I turned 13.
Shout out, mom.
Shout out, moms. I don't know where I'd be without that bike and without that opportunity to use that tool. But
Mom is dope.
9 years ago, middle school, that time I was still in the business. I was selling candy to make my money, selling dirt bikes, selling shoes, and I got into the bikes. And then around that time, it wasn't about bike life. It wasn't about sponsors or about opportunities. It was literally riding a bike to get around, to have fun, and to maybe learn how to wheelie.
Yeah.
But like I said, when I think about 9 years back instead of 5, I didn't have any expectations about sponsors, about anything I'm doing right now. Riding on stage, doing commercials, meeting so many people, and the popularity I gained from everything I've done, I didn't expect that at all. So sometimes I say, oh, that was an accident.
Yeah.
So looking in the future, it's like, I wonder what I can achieve now that I have goals and so much knowledge. And it won't be an accident. It'll all be strategic, plan, and one day all accomplished.
Damn, that's crazy. So it's like almost kind of like a night and day difference, but it was all because it was all because of not even a initial plan. It just
Right.
happened naturally at first,
Right.
and then like now you're just kind of like going by ear and just
Right.
planning it out now that you're like here,
Yeah.
making it happen.
I feel like that's my advantage. It's my advantage because I jumped into it
Yeah.
with no expectation. So there's a phrase that I like. It's along the lines of expectation kills happiness or kills joy.
Yeah.
And that makes sense because when you expect things, you have a certain standard expectation that you created. And when it doesn't meet it, it might suck.
Yeah.
But when you have no expectations, you don't expect nothing, and something, maybe 1% good happens,
Yeah.
it's better than, nothing.
Right.
So it's cool. So back to the point, I didn't expect sponsors. I didn't expect to be popular. I didn't expect, like I said, nothing that I'm living nowadays. So that's my advantage. I just came in just trying to have fun.
Yeah.
And that fun gave me the results that everyone sees today.
Dude, seriously, that's sick, bro. Because I think from your perspective, when you started, you weren't expecting anything, but
Yeah.
like now, like I'm just contrasting to like how I see things now is like there's a lot of people who are kind of jumping onto like into the bike life,
Right.
just expecting a lot. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Expecting, give me a bike. They're
Yeah.
expecting sponsorships. They're expecting free merch, like,
Yeah.
and they're expecting it from us, from you and I. They're just like,
Yeah.
pass me a bike. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we get those messages a lot.
All the time. Yeah. How often do you get? Be real.
Those
How often do you
messages?
get a message like, "Yo, give me a bike"? I'll tell you mine.
No exaggeration, every day.
Every day.
Every day.
Same. Yeah. Every
Sometimes I have people doing day one I'm asking DZ for a free bike.
Yeah.
And I'll get day 1, day 2, day 3. And it's like, do I have time to reply and tell them how I actually feel? Or should I just let them continue?
Just let them cook.
And
Keep
they
cooking.
usually don't continue.
I have some that just keep going. There's a dude, literally a Q&A for this podcast.
Yeah.
A kid literally went in there and was like, "Yo, tell DZ to give me his old hat, the one you're wearing right now, on your head."
Yo, that's crazy. How about you?
Would I give him my old hat? Sure, I guess.
No. How many days, like how many times do you get that message? Like consistently, frequently?
Every day.
Oh, every day too.
Yeah, every day. It's like co-sign me or give me a free bike. It's always the hottest one right now is give me a SoCal flyer. There's been like all the time is like there's a kid asking for a SoCal flyer.
So I'm sponsored by Throne. It's funny when kids ask me for like other brands,
Yeah.
as if like I was Santa Claus.
Yeah, I don't even know where they got the SoCal flyer from because I've never done anything with SE yet. So, but
Yeah,
I don't know.
my generation's kind of cooked, so I expect it.
So, since we're like talking from like how you were then versus how kids are now,
Yeah.
do you see like a big change of like culture from then to now with bike life?
Yes.
Yeah.
You want the good or the bad?
Let's start with good. I love starting with good.
So what I see good is that people who are doing cool things similar to what I'm doing, because other riders doing amazing things, whether it's hosting events, whether it's building a good personal brand where they can get sponsors, recognition, and use that in a positive way to create awareness for the sport. Brand deals, commercials, and what that does is create opportunities for other people. For example, growing up, when you ask a kid what they want to be, they say something not generic, but like somewhat common.
Yeah.
For the most part, like, oh, I want to be the pro basketball player. I want to be an astronaut. I want to be a quarterback, right? Because those opportunities are seen as common. You look on TV, you see the pro athlete, or you see the cop, you see the firefighter.
Yeah.
But when I'm doing stuff that portrays me to be a pro athlete, or to be an actor, or a model, or a stuntman, I feel like that creates more hope for other people who want to get into it. And also it shows parents that, okay, maybe this bike isn't just a little phase or a toy. It could be something that can grow bigger than that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, especially with how far that you've like came, like going on tour. That's insane. That's like I don't think I've ever seen that before. I feel like you're
Yeah.
like one of the first people to be like able to go on tour, especially with a huge artist
Yeah.
like what Camila Cabello, right?
Come look at that, yeah.
Yeah,
It's a
that's
blessing.
insane.
I don't think I've seen it either, which is another cool thing about it.
Yeah, that's sick. And you were also with Billy Perry
Billy Perry,
and
Jaron Barboza,
yeah,
other two pro riders, and them being in the game much longer than me, it was very humbling and inspiring to work with them, because you know, you always want to learn from people who are doing what you're doing actively or accomplished what you're trying to accomplish. So the dynamic changes a little bit when I'm around them, because I want to learn from them. I want to see how they're doing things. I'm gonna ask them more questions.
right.
So that's a cool thing about working with people who are, further than you. You learn from them.
Yeah, for once you can like find like you can have a mentor for like that kind of for those, I guess, for someone like you said, have a lot more experience.
Yeah.
Going on tour, been pro for a long time.
Yeah.
Especially with like a different type of BMX that's
Right.
been around longer. So I'm sure that they have a lot more experience.
And I encourage that mindset, as opposed to being envious or being jealous, or I guess being a victim in some way, like, oh, they're doing that because they have this advantage and I don't, or they have this bike and I don't, so I can't do what they're doing, and be mad. Instead have the mindset of, oh, they're doing it, I can do it too. How could I do it? Let me go ask them.
Yeah.
Or let me go research, or let me try to learn, as opposed to being envious. That's something that I learned over time.
That's a very optimistic mindset, and I think like it takes a lot of time and practice, and like you said, discipline to kind of redirect yourself.
A lot of self-awareness as well.
Yeah, that's huge. So, what do you think are the cons then, with the changes of bike life from then to now?
The cons that I've noticed, because I got into the scene relatively early,
Yeah.
and I've stuck through it without taking breaks, without taking off seasons, till now. Not till now, but all the way to this day, I'm still in the scene. I've noticed, I can only speak for SoCal, because that's where I'm at actively, and that's where I started. That's where I'm still at.
Right.
I've noticed it gotten much more cliquey, in the sense of there's more crews, there's more clubs, which is cool, because you want that kind of competitiveness, but then again, we're all on bikes. And a lot of times, most of these events originated from us riding as one, as one group, riding together, right? When I first got in the scene, there was maybe two groups, and it wasn't like a battle. It was just two groups, just because. And we're still riding together, which that's still the case.
Yeah.
But you see a lot of jerseys, you see a lot of different clubs, and that's not bad. But it's bad when it becomes, oh, it's us versus you guys, or you guys can't do this event because we're doing this event that day. Or if you ride with us, you need to wear this. You can't be riding with them.
Yeah.
Because what's the difference with that? And then a traditional game.
Right.
No
Creating
difference.
a policy.
There's no difference.
Yeah.
So, if you're gonna be a gang member, go be a gang member and keep it off the bikes.
Yeah. I mean,
I have no affiliation with gangs, and I have no say on how they work and what you should do. But it seems like you want to be a gang member. But if you want to do that, keep that in a different side of the street.
Keep that out the bikes. Yeah.
If you want to be a biker, stick to the core and stick to why we actually do this: to have fun, to create bonds, and to be one.
Yeah.
Instead of being separated and enemies.
Yeah, I see that. Like, I see there's like a lot of, like you said, competitiveness, but I think some of it yeah, some of it goes beyond competition, and it just becomes like envious or beefing. And also, we're seeing I see like, I don't know if you're seeing it, but I see a lot of like kind of like wolf pack culture. So like when one person does one thing, then the rest of the pack does it. So like let's say like if one person starts looting the store, then everyone starts doing it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think that like sometimes those are things that are kind of like for us out of our control.
Yeah.
But like, what do you feel? Can you feel like personally you can make any sort of change like when it comes to like kids, you know, who are like engaging in kind of like that activity, or do you, how do you feel like you can like maybe how would you handle that? I guess if yeah.
I feel like leading by example isn't the best way to lead. It's the only way to lead. So you will never catch me, at least nowadays, maybe back in the day, but nowadays you will never catch me intentionally causing trouble, intentionally causing harm to people, intentionally robbing, vandalizing, looting from stores, at all. You will
Yeah.
never catch me doing that. And that is really one of the best things I can do, and only thing I can do, lead by example. Because I can stand up at my own event, which I have in the past. Hey, we're out here for this reason, to spread good vibes, to have fun, and to, is mine on? What's the question again?
Yeah, so like what was what do you think is like what
Oh,
is,
okay, yeah.
the best way to
Yeah.
like solve this problem?
So yeah, that's one of the best and only things I can do, lead by example. And in the past, of course, I stood by my own rides. Hey, we're out here for this reason, to be positive, spread good energy, good vibes, to have fun, and to just ride our bikes. That's why we're here.
Yeah.
And behind my back, we'll have people that still go into these stores and rob and loot. And we're highlighting that because it's been a trendy thing to do on these bike rides, go in these
Yeah.
stores and act like animals.
Yep.
And is it wrong when the police come or when we're put on the news and then potentially put in jail and be called animals if we're acting like it? Is it that wrong? I would say, I mean, look at what you're doing and what do you expect to happen? And I don't know. I don't know how I would handle it because from my experience, the best way and only way to lead is by example.
Yeah.
And yeah, you won't see me doing that nowadays.
Yeah, because it's like it's kind of out of your control. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, even if it is like a ride that you're participating in,
Yeah.
like you don't have control of like what anyone is gonna do, and
Right.
policing it is not really gonna do anything other than the person to like want to not engage with you anymore.
Right.
You know, at least from my experience, I feel like that's what happens all the time. Is like you try and be the dad at the ride, like
Right.
someone's gonna try and cook you for it. You know what I mean?
And I grew wise enough to know that people are going to change when they want to change.
Yeah.
So for many different individuals, they might learn the same lesson in a different way. And they might learn it later. They might learn early. And I'm fortunate to learn a lot of things early. And I feel totally blessed for it. Because I've been stolen from. I've done the stealing.
Yep.
I went and got in trouble. I went and got caught. I went to go to jail from riding bikes.
Oh shoot.
And with all that happening, you can use all those incidents to become the villain and do harm continuously, or be an example and learn from it and show others, this is what I did wrong, this is why I did it, and there's probably no good, valid reason why I did it, so why would you do it?
Yeah.
I did the time, I wasted the time, I spent the money, but you should just learn the lesson and learn from me.
Yeah.
But, like I said, us humans, we rather and are better learning from our own experience. We're better off learning when it happens to us, when it impacts us. Because if something bad happened to me, only so much you can feel it.
Yeah.
Until it happens to you, then you literally feel it, and that's may be the time you change, hopefully.
Yeah, it takes a different person to learn from someone else's mistakes, and then like to learn from their own. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think like I've always had cousins when I was younger, and my older cousins, they were engaging into like some gang shit, being thugs, and they ended up passing away, and. I think that took a big impact on me, on like how I need to behave, because I felt that there's been a trend in the family, and if I didn't act right, then I would just end up being just like them. So
you made that choice. It's all about choice, and a smart man learns from his mistakes, and a smarter man learns from his mistakes and others. And if you don't learn at all, it's ignorance.
Yeah, you're toast. You're cooked.
You're cooked, bro.
You're cooked. You're gonna burn out. Speaking of cooking, though, this is like a perfect transition right here, bro. So you've been cooking so hard to the point where you've been able to go on tour with Camila Cabello.
Yeah.
In how many countries?
Portugal, Morocco, Denmark, UK, America, Las Vegas.
Dang.
And Mexico. So 6 countries so far.
Bro, that is sick.
It's been amazing.
That's amazing. So how did you even get that gig? Are you able to discuss that? Is there like a NDA?
It's a long story, and I thought I was getting good at practicing how to tell it.
Yeah.
But long story short, when preparation meets opportunity, and something great happens. But the pro BMX rider we were talking about earlier, Jaron Barboza, he rides 20 inches. And he got the call from his peoples, from Nigel Sylvester and his team, because they're the ones that got the opportunity, like, yo, we need bikers. And specifically, we need 2 BMXers that ride 20-inch bikes, and we need 1 wheelie guy. I met Jaron a year prior to us locking in on that gig at an audition. So from what I got from meeting him and knowing about him, it's like we only talk about business. And we met at an audition. And we're both riding bikes. And after we connected on Instagram, I've been following him, but then he discovered me like a week after we met on Instagram. Oh, wow. So we kind of resonated in the sense of we're both athletes on bikes.
Yeah.
We're both on a professional level and business minded. Of course, if there's opportunity and I'm prepared for it, I'd be good for it. And he recognized that. So when they needed a wheelie guy, he wrote my name in. He requested my passport. If it's valid, a video of me riding my bike. Next day, yo, you're booked.
Bro, they're like,
lock in.
This is the guy.
Yeah.
That's how he was like. He was just like, we need 2 20 inchers.
Yeah.
We need a wheelie guy. And they're like, oh, wheelie guy? Yeah. I know one. Just like that.
Yeah.
Bro, that is
sick. It gets very deep because Nigel Sylvester is one of my favorite guys on 2 wheels. And I've been watching him since 2018.
Oh, wow.
Around the time that I got serious into biking. And he was one of the guys that I was watching and I felt like I resonated with. And I always envisioned us working together somehow, some way. I don't know how, I don't know when, but I always envisioned us working together. So when I realized that this shoot was booked by his agency and got me through his agency, and I seen his name on my contract because he has to sign off on it, I'm like, wait, technically I'm working with them. Yeah. And this is great. Yeah. And then the rehearsal starts in LA for this shoot. And then the first day I meet my BMX coordinator, the one that's helping us do what we're supposed to do, shift us around and make sure we're doing what we should be doing, stuff we're comfortable with on stage. And his name is Ralphie Ramos. And he is Nigel's right-hand man, assistant. That's the guy. So I'm like, I'm working with Nigel's boys. I'm working with these professional bike riders. It's like, this is where I'm supposed to be. Yeah. And then it's great because I envisioned it for years. That's a whole different thing.
That's so sick, bro.
Yeah.
So like being on tour, I'd imagine like you build relationships with people, right? And so
Yeah.
like how was your relationship, I guess? Like were you ever able to be close with the people who you were mentors with or like with Billy Perry
Yeah.
or and like with Camila, or how was the relationship and the dynamic at the over on tour?
Very friendly.
Very friendly?
Like in the entertainment industry, it's like everyone's outgoing, or for the most part, outgoing and friendly.
Yeah.
Like when you're in that environment, it's easy to meet people, but it's easy to get overwhelmed with a lot of people you meet. So I was around 6 dancers almost every day for 2 weeks straight, different countries, for multiple hours a day.
Yeah.
And it's like you have to learn how to talk. You have to learn how to, be social. But learning to be close with them and building a relationship was easy because we're rehearsing, we're having fun, and that's the most important part. Have fun. When you're too busy overthinking in your head, too busy being strategic, you get away from the human to human connection where you want to build a relationship.
Yeah.
So like, it's not all about the tricks. It's not all about the sequence, the script. You have to connect with the people.
Yeah. Just networking and building that rapport.
Yeah, just
with who
talking
you're
and
with.
just being yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's sick. Yeah, that's kind of like, I feel like that's a little bit similar with like, kind of like, when you go to like city to city and you're like maybe like either like going on the Goon tour and you're
Right.
organizing like stuff with like either brands or with like community leaders, like you have to build those rapport,
Right.
that rapport with those people for them
Absolutely.
to like want to actually work with you and also trust you to
Yeah.
like represent their city and also represent maybe their brand. So that's really sick. That's just I guess on a bigger scale
Right.
of business. That's really sick.
That's one of the most important parts of
wow.
business. Business is about human relations and learning how to manage people. Because whether we agree or not, you have to deal with people all the time, 24/7.
Yeah.
So why not sharpen that skill of dealing with people and how to communicate?
Yeah,
So I
sharpen
think it's
that blade.
important. Yeah. for
Yeah,
sure.
that's sick. Since and this was kind of like the last question, I guess, of the interview. So like we're talking about sharpening and shaping.
Yeah.
You have a program where you're able to kind of sharpen and shape the people who you're mentoring.
Yeah.
Do you want to like talk about your program that you have?
So my program is simple. It's other people who want to learn from my experience as a pro athlete, content creator that has sponsors, that works with brands, and someone who turned their hobby into a lifestyle. So I use a platform called School. It's a very cool platform, the all-in-one platform to teach other people who want to be in your paid or free program. And that's a platform I use. It's called Urban Athlete. And through there, I work with my students one-on-one or do group things as well. And stuff like courses or stuff like resources I use to hit up sponsors or how I edit. That's kind of what I teach them. Simply teaching them what I wanted to learn years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a cheat code of like how to become, I guess, disciplined, focused, and
Mindset.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's sick. And they
I
get
think
like
it's a cheat code for sure.
I'd call it a cheat code. Like they get to interact with you kind of like one-on-one, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, bro, that's sick. And it's like a lot of these kids, are they mostly kids, right? Or
Ages
like adults?
between my youngest member, his name is Jacob. He's actually from up north.
Okay.
He's 10.
Oh,
I
wow.
think he just turned 11. It's my youngest member. And it's from 11 to 23.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the ages where I've been. So it's like where I can communicate the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's sick. And they've, how long have you been doing the program for?
Been doing it for a few months now. I'm going to
months.
say locked into that program for about 4 months, 3 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How are they doing in the program?
It's cool.
Yeah?
It's challenging for them and I because there's no coaches in bike life necessarily.
Yeah.
And You know, I've never been a teacher. I've just always been someone to learn from. So trying to package my information in a formal way or in a way where I can teach it or for it to be understood is something I am continuously learning myself. And I feel like learning is just a part of the process.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're right about that. I don't see too many, there isn't really a coach for bike life. I feel like, like we would be like kind of like the next generation of
Right.
like people to lead by example, like you were saying,
Right.
and or do something similar like having a program,
Yeah,
or even like creating your own community,
for sure.
like a Discord where you guys can like
I know you have
chat.
one too.
Yeah. It's actually inspired kind of by like this podcast.
Yeah.
It's called the After Ride Discord. So
Yeah.
we have the After Ride podcast, and then we have also the After Ride Discord, where we'll kind of like do the same thing. We'll talk about like community stuff.
I like that.
We have forums. So like forums, like like with cars and stuff. You have
Yeah.
like different like Honda, Volkswagen.
Creates the community aspect where people can
Yeah.
add their own thoughts.
Gather their own thoughts, or like also specs on bikes and stuff.
Yeah.
If they need any sort of resources, everyone can just like chat under like Throne
sure.
forums. Yeah, so like there's a lot of nitty gritty stuff with that Discord that I think is beneficial for the community. So that's sick, bro. So that's all the questions I have, at least for myself. But I also have questions from people on Instagram.
Okay.
So we're gonna answer those too.
Let's dive in. Let's hear what the people want to hear.
Let's dive in. So one of them I already asked about was the DZ hat. Would you ever give away? Would you ever give away that DZ hat?
Yes.
Yeah?
Jacob Santos from Broke Boys just gave me like 4 brand new Broke Boys hats, so I would definitely give this hat away.
For real? Do you have any other DZ hats? Like if someone was to like want to buy them?
They're one of one
Oh, really?
with my sweat. Yeah.
Shoot. Would you sell it?
No. I give it
eBay?
away. I give it away.
Bro, what was that thing with didn't somebody try to sell a bike with your signature on it?
Yes. Someone tried to sell a bike and try to upsell it with my signature on it.
Bro.
Which is cool.
That's
I guess.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. I wouldn't even be
feels
mad.
cool.
I'd be like,
cool.
You're trying to make money off my name, but it's like, that's
not?
how much you
Who is
value
not?
me, though.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? That's how much they value you.
I love it. I hope he sold it.
That's sick. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 questions that I picked. Okay, so this is by SBH Mino. How to stop with bad habits? I try, but continue every time I try.
In the gym, there's a term called progressive overloading. And basically, progressive overloading is each week or each time you do that workout, it don't matter what it is, but every time you do that workout, you want to add maybe 1 pound or 2 pounds after each lift.
Yeah.
Consistently to progressively overload or add another rep. So with bad habits, one thing I like to teach and one thing I talk about and implement myself is progressive underload. So your bad habit could be maybe you eat too much or maybe you drink alcohol too much. First, figure out how much you're drinking and simply progressive underload. If you find that you're drinking 10 times a week, start by doing 9, then 8, 7, 6, 5, and etc.
Yeah.
Learn how to rely on it less and train your body. That's just a logical methodology. But what really is going to actually do it is discipline. And discipline is simply doing the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it.
Yeah.
It's easy to stay stuck to your habits, especially bad ones, because typically bad ones are easy to do.
Yeah.
You can do it because you were trained to do it, so it's a subconscious thing, or it's just a path of least resistance. Workouts are hard if you want to lose weight.
Right.
Choosing to eat good is hard if you're addicted to sugary junk food.
Yeah.
Avoiding that bike ride may be easy because you'll be comfortable in your room, you're not sweating, you're not breaking it. It's easy.
Yeah.
But that's where you train your mind, okay, if I want to build better habits or quit bad ones, I have to choose the path where it may be difficult today, right now. In the long run, it's gonna feel like a downward slide. It will feel easier because I've been training. I've been practicing my self-discipline. So long story short, it's in your mind.
Yeah.
And then practice implementing the progressive underloading.
So like if I was to, let's just pretend that I was a gamer boy, which you called me out one time for being a gamer boy.
Yeah, what's wrong with you?
So what's wrong with it, bro? So this is what happened, bro. So I was on the game and I get a random call from DZ and I had my headphones on and bro saw the headphones and he was like, "Are you a gamer boy?
Yeah.
Are you for real?"
And I hung up.
Yeah.
No, but it's like,
What was it? Okay.
So,
what is like? What's your perspective?
Let's like take a little back step.
Cause I was hurt. My feelings was hurt.
Bro,
My feelings was hurt.
I used to play games. I used to be a gamer boy.
So you understand?
I understand, but that was in like middle school.
Oh my God, you trying to fry me.
Okay, look, but like I said, I'm fortunate to be blessed with learning things early, right? So, and it's not necessarily your fault or the young men of society's fault because games are made to be addicting.
Yeah.
Same thing with social media, same thing with the news, same thing with propaganda. It's made to be addicting. It's made to make us want to continuously stimulate our mind. Maybe same thing with substances.
Yeah.
There's a reason why, tobacco in the store or weed wrappers or alcohol may have the colorful wrappers, may have the fun flavors.
Yeah.
There's a reason why Arizona, Monster, these juice companies are going alcohol. Because for the longest time, we've known them just to be sweet and tasty. But now they're sweet and tasty, and they can get you drunk out of your normal state of mind, a.k.a. stimulated.
Yep.
When it's high color, when it's high, when it smells good, when it looks good, it's stimulating. It makes you more attracted to it. Games, the creators are constantly getting better at keeping us on there.
Yep. It's more enticing.
Yeah. So one game I used to play, and the last game I played was Fortnite.
Yep.
Fortnite is a game that's free initially.
Yep.
So that means it's access to anyone who has the console.
Literally anything. Phone.
Exactly.
Anything.
They're optimizing for different platforms. So it's accessible to even the poor people with the console. And then they get paid from attention by them being on there longer and then them watching the ads and then buying the skins. So the main thing, without me rambling, are you familiar with virtual reality?
VR, yeah.
VR?
Yeah.
Do you use VR?
No.
Do you know people that do?
Yeah. I have friends that do VR. They're like on it all the time.
So that's my problem.
All the time.
I feel like VR, if you're a ambitious, purposeful, I can only say young man because that's what I am. I can speak for myself and my experience. If I'm a purposeful, ambitious, disciplined, driven young man, why would I spend the precious time I have in a virtual reality away from real life progress, my goals, my dreams, real people in real life, and just waste it all in a game?
Yeah.
That right there doesn't sit right with me, where there's us, we're so young, and time we cannot get back. We're trading time we cannot get back for games to just be distracted, just to fall into that pleasure for an hour, 2, or even more. And those games aren't contributing to our goals or our progress mentally and physically.
Yeah.
It's actually doing the opposite. If you're not trying to be a professional gamer.
Right, yeah.
If you're trying to be a pro gamer and make a full-time income, or you want to retire your mom with games, I respect that because I don't knock hustle.
Yeah.
But if it's not that, that's the only exception, in my opinion.
It's just for nothing, really.
It's for nothing. It's not good for your mental because it's overstimulating. And the people who play games constantly, I would say, pay attention. If you play games more than an hour a day, there's a high chance that person doesn't read books. Because books are too boring. They're too boring because they're overstimulated on the game. A book, Fortnite.
Yeah.
What's the average young man going to want to play or participate in? Exactly.
Give me that Fortnite.
So that's my answer to that.
That's a pretty good. That's a pretty
distraction.
good spiel for it too. Is like, I think me, maybe like when I was younger, I was definitely a lot more like hooked on it. Now it's like 30 minutes. I think that's like as long as I could last on there. But like I do feel guilty every time I hop on there. But for the next question, this is from King_Zay. What is the best way to get yourself more known or make yourself stick out more? I think that's a very common question too. Is like everyone wants to kind of know like the cheat code. What's that sauce to making yourself different, but also making yourself not look, I guess, weird to a lot of folks.
Yeah.
How do you make yourself look? I guess what's your advice for Zay?
It's a funny question. I get that question a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of contradicting for some people because they want to stand out, but they're afraid to look different. So do
Yeah.
you want to stand out or do you want to fit in? So you have to really decide. And this goes back to what we said before, taking the path of least resistance. It's easy to blend in because it's not like it's not nerve-wracking.
Mm-hmm.
But when you have a feeling inside, or when you want to be this person that isn't popular or isn't going with the norm, it's more scary. It feels scary to ride bikes if everyone is skating. You go to a skate park, you see a bunch of skaters, no bikes.
Yeah.
You kind of feel like, oh damn, like should I be here?
Yeah. You
Or should I just go express myself anyway?
Yeah.
So you have to make that decision. It's all about choice, like I said earlier. We're all unique. We all look different. We all have different mindsets. So simply use that and be that. Because when you're always in your head, should I wear what they're wearing so I don't get called weird? So make up your mind. Do you want to fit in or do you want to stand out and be the unique person you are and embrace it? Because they're both going to be uncomfortable. But you have to choose.
Yeah, you got to choose one. You got to choose one for sure. Definitely. I feel like it's easier when you just kind of like make that decision to just be yourself and make that and capitalize on that versus like you trying to like be something and you're just stuck in this like this hole of like you have to like stay within this circle, you know what I mean?
It's also
Yeah.
confidence too. When you lack confidence, you have a hard time doing what you want to do and being who you want to be. You're too worried about what people are thinking about you, and you try to camouflage.
Yeah. And, most of the time, people probably don't even care about you in that kind of sense, you know what I mean? A lot of people are really just worried about themselves and how they look, you know what I mean? So it's
Absolutely.
like, stop thinking that, like, everyone cares about you. That's kind of like kind of sounds like a negative way of thinking of it, but it's also, it's kind of like a real life, it's real life. Like,
You're absolutely right. I love that mindset. The mindset of everyone's insecure. While you're going around worried about if people are thinking about you, they're actually thinking about themselves and what you're thinking about them. So stop focusing on you because everyone's doing the same thing you're doing.
Yeah.
The other day I was in the gym. I was trying to hit a PR on the bench press. And the bench press is a dangerous workout if you don't have a spotter because the bar can kill you. Long story short, I tried to hit my PR. The last rep, I couldn't do it. And the bar sat on my chest. I was looking around the gym for about 25 seconds until someone met eyes with me. I didn't yell. I was just not panicking. And that showed me, like, no one's actually looking at me because this 175 pounds is on my chest.
Yep.
And no one's helping me. So that showed me, like, no one's actually paying attention to what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Because I almost just died.
Yeah. And they were just, they were locking in.
Yeah, they locking in on their own stuff.
Yeah, they got their own shit going on.
So that shows right there. No one's worried about me.
Damn, that was a perfect example, bro.
It's a real life example, and it
That's
hurt.
real life. Yeah, I'm sorry that happened to you, bro.
Nah.
Did you like any abrasion or bruising, or are you straight?
Mentally? Yeah.
Mentally, you're just scarred. I'm mentally
It's a
scarred.
good lesson. It's a good lesson. I'm glad I can share it with you.
Dude, that's crazy. How long ago was that?
Bro, it was like 5 days ago.
Bro, that was fresh.
You
still thinking about that?
Still thinking about it. I love it.
Have you bench pressed again after that?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Did you
With the
PR?
spotter. You say what?
Did you PR?
Of course, bro.
Okay. You locked in, bro. I don't know anything about that.
It's all good. We can learn. Got you, man.
I don't work out. This one's from Zayna. You know Zayna, the homie. Z. Shout out Z. Something you would tell yourself when you first started writing. So what would you tell yourself, like you now? What would you tell yourself like back then?
I would tell myself to stay focused. When you're, for example, when I started off riding bikes as a hobby, right? So when you're in that stage, you're telling yourself like, this is only a hobby. This might not be a full-time thing, you know? So when it's not a full-time thing, you have a plan B or plan C. And there's a phrase that I heard and I really love it. Plan B is the plan A's worst enemy.
Oh, shoot.
So lock
Never
in.
even thought about it
If
like
you
that.
decide on doing this, riding bikes, that's my tool. But you don't have to be riding bikes. You can have a different tool, whether it's art, surfing, being a comedian, being a news reporter.
Yep.
Lock in on that and don't have any plan B. Focus. I love the acronym for focus. Follow one course until successful. Lock in on that one thing until you succeed with it.
Yeah.
Then if you want to change, then change.
Just follow through.
Just follow through.
No matter how much of, no matter like what, like I guess.
Don't worry
what
about what the culture's
aftermath is.
doing. Don't worry about what your friends are doing. Don't worry about the trends. Just worry about that tool.
No, okay. I see that. I feel like I've applied that with my own, like with my own experience, especially with like BIKELIFENEWS and how it started. Like, it was just only like, it was supposed to be only a 1 month experiment. And then that 1 month experiment turned into 6 months. And then after 6 months, the page, like, I think it like doubled its following. And then the next 6 months, it just went crazy. So and it was just following through and staying consistent. So
Right.
that definitely I feel is kind of like the key to
Right.
like wanting to see change.
Because attention and time is not unlimited.
Yeah.
You only have 24 hours in a day. We only have a certain amount of days we're gonna live on this earth. So if you're splitting all that energy and time throughout different things, you're only gonna be a generalist as opposed to being a specialist when you put all that energy and focus on that one thing. So if you want to be a person that's good at snowboarding, good at riding bikes, good at skateboarding, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
There's people who can do it all successfully. Or would you rather spend all the time you split up on a one thing and just explode in that industry or that sport or that hobby?
Yeah.
And then specialize in it and then try something else.
Yeah, just hyper focus on just that one thing.
Yeah.
And you would have to have some sort of like amount of passion for it though, right?
That's what I would tell my younger self. Focus on this course. Don't worry about selling clothes. Don't worry about trying to get a job in this field. Just focus on this. Explode your income. Explode your whatever you're trying to accomplish, and then try to branch out into other things.
We have another question from Stretch_Dad. How do you remain so humble? First off, do you feel like you're a humble person, or do you feel like that's always something that you have to work on every day?
I feel like it's something you definitely need to work on. There'll always be a battle between your ego and I would say your humility.
Yeah.
You know, you never want to put a cap on your learning. Therefore, you always want to act like you don't know things. Like you don't want to assume you know it all, because that adds the glass ceiling. That adds, like I said, the cap to your bottle. You can't learn more. You know, when you approach things as a glass full of water, you know, it's only so much you can take in.
Yeah.
Therefore, when you understand that being humble is good, why? Because you learn more. People will probably dislike you less if you're humble. People will trust you because you're more to yourself as opposed to talkative and explaining more than necessary.
Yeah.
So there's not too many downsides in being humble from my experience. So, yeah, I think I highly encourage being humble for those reasons.
Do you feel like, so do you ever catch yourself like where your like ego is like kind of taking over, and when that happens, how do you level yourself back to humble, or does that ever happen to you?
I would say yes, and then I'm at a point where I feel like the ego is coming in, and I feel like it can block a potential blessing. Then I have to realize, okay, what are the pros and cons to this situation? Like, is my ego hurting me? Is it being my enemy right now, or is it just saving me from making mistakes that I've made in the past? Right. So it's always gonna be a battle.
Yeah.
And some days it might be harder, some days it might be easier, but as long as you're constantly striving to become a humble person, a person who doesn't need to, say more than necessary, doesn't need to be loud, doesn't need to brag, doesn't need to be arrogant, then I don't see no harm in it.
Yeah, because there's those two things are always going to be there.
For
There's
sure.
always going to be ego, and then there's always going to be humility, and it's just a matter of
Just
like
constantly remind yourself.
balancing it.
Remind yourself that being humble is important, and it really makes an impact. So a constant reminder should be able to regulate, how you proceed. So I approach this humbly or arrogantly.
Yep.
You have to have that inner dialogue and conversation with yourself.
Yeah.
The most important conversation is one you have with yourself. So, yeah, you need to coach yourself through it.
Yeah. All the
yourself.
time. Dang. Humility. I feel like that humility can be your best friend. You know what I mean? I feel like that's the only way that you can really relate to people is showing some humility, and also giving those people those opportunities for them to also show some humility back, because a lot of people have their guard up.
Right.
So I feel like when you first show that humility, people feel, I guess, a little bit less vulnerable and become more open because you're being vulnerable first. So that's also, I guess, that goes back to leading by example. You know what I mean? You become vulnerable first and show that humility, and then people want to then like feel more comfortable to open up about themselves too. So that's a great way to stay humble. I love that. This one's from my sister. This is not about the height. She asked 2 questions.
Hi, sis.
Hey, sis. I'm not going to put out her Instagram because I don't want nobody coming after my sis, bro.
Sis, chill.
That ain't happening, but
Sis, chill.
hey, man,
Gangery, chill.
don't be dumb, sis. I love my sister. Shout out my sister, Tiana.
What's good? What's sis talking about?
She asked, what makes Bike Life community so special? What makes it so special, like, compared to, I guess, previous hobbies, previous encounters with different communities? What makes it different?
I feel what makes Bike Life special is it's very accessible for someone to get a bike, because a bike is a metal frame with 2 wheels with pedals. It don't matter what brand, it don't matter how much it costs, it don't matter what color it is, it's accessible. And with that bike, you can go to a ride out, you can go with your friends to an event and meet other people who have the same passion as you do, or are there for the same reason, to have fun, to meet new people, to exercise, and to feel a sense of community.
Yeah.
And at these events, you see people who may look like you see people who are older, who are younger, who are different races, and different walks of life. And that to me is what makes Bike Life special. It's a tool for many people to do those exact things. And I think as long as we do not forget those key and special aspects of Bike Life, it will have more longevity, and it'll make a lot more lives better.
Yeah. Yeah, it creates a bigger impact. You meet a lot of people on bikes, and it doesn't matter if you wheelie or not. Like, if you're in the pack, it goes back to just as simple as we ride as one. You know what I mean?
Simple.
It's as simple as that. And when I first walked into Bike Life, that was my perspective, was like, dude, look at all these people. I didn't know anybody, and I think that's a big reason why I was like, I didn't know anyone when I first walked in, but I was like, bro, like, look at everyone riding. Everyone's having fun. Somebody has a bump box. There's like probably 10 people with bump boxes in like different parts of the ride. Like it's sick. It's a vibe. It's different. And I think that's what kind of made me really fall in love with bike life was exactly that. Was just, it's as simple as just a bunch of random folks riding bikes. It didn't matter who you are, what you're wearing, what race you are, what class you're in. When it comes to income, none of that matters to me, bro. Like, so, yeah, that's sick. That's definitely. I feel like that's definitely what makes bike life so special. Is that it is. It doesn't have to be competitive.
Right.
You choose for it to be competitive, right? So.
And that may be why it's special for some people. Because I like competition, but I like it in a healthy way.
Yeah.
Where it ends up helping one another, like, because I compete non-formally in martial arts. I go against my partners, my boys, or random people. But I'm not here to kill them. I'm not here to hurt their ego.
Right.
I'm not here to, prove that I'm the better one necessarily. I'm here to show myself what I'm learning. I'm here to show them what they're lacking, and to ultimately learn from it. Yeah. So apply that to biking. If you're in it to compete, do it constructively. And, find what makes it special to you. And that might change over the years. For me, it did. That's how purpose works. It changes over time. So find what makes it special for you.
Yeah, that's real. That's dope. I think that is like a perfect way to kind of end and sum up this podcast. Is there anything coming up? Anything you want to plug? Any events? Anything exciting that's coming up with DZ? Are you traveling?
I would love to, but I much prefer being silent, working in the dark, and then just surprising y'all.
All right. So he's just gonna pull a sneaky one on us.
As always.
And
stay tuned.
We'll just find out when we find out.
Yeah.
When you see it, is when you see it. So that's dope. So I guess that is the wrap of this podcast of the After Ride. This is the very first episode. I want to give a big, huge shout out to Baylands Bicycles out in Niles, California, for letting us just use this wonderful property.
They got us in here safe.
Yes.
Fed. Shout out to Baylands. It's dope. Rest in peace, Ant.
Rest in peace, Ant, man. If it wasn't for Ant, bro, we wouldn't be able to have such an amazing place, an amazing community, and such a family-orientated group of people at Baylands Bicycles out in Niles, California. Yeah, Baylands is sick, bro. That's actually where I met DZ, was actually at a Baylands event. It was the second anniversary event that they had.
What a full circle moment.
It was sick.
Bro, it's crazy.
It's crazy. Now we're here.
We're back at it.
We're back at it. I had only 1,000 followers at the time.
I appreciate you for having me, man.
Oh, absolutely. DZ, my boy. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you, man.
Love you, bro.
Love you, my G.
Yo, that's a wrap. Please, don't be stupid. Make sure you ride a bike. Don't be dumb.
Don't panic.